Blues versus Western Force. Ooh. Good game of rugby in the end. A few talking points though. Now before the game, look, I thought this was always going to be a tough ask for the Western Force, playing at Eden Park, or aka I call it the Garden of Eden, or the Force of Eden, whatever you want to call it. So the first sort of quarter of the game, it was quite evident that the Force had done their homework on the Blues, and they really came out and targeted them physically. There was a number of big hits. You could see their intent physically, coming in low, leading with the shoulder, looking to be brutal. And it was quite noticeable. But the Blues went 7-0 up, and it just looked like the Western Force were kind of passengers in the game. They're just not quite in it. To me, I thought a big point in the game, almost the turning point, was when the Force were down the Blues end and they're on attack, and they just kind of, again, just going through the motions, spinning the ball, and then the ball would go to ground, or someone would catch it and then look to run on, rather than chucking the ball and someone really catching it, running onto it at speed in a gap and really testing the Blues defence. But, yeah, they just weren't good enough on attack, so they took the 3 points, and it's 7-3-0 up for the Blues. The Blues then went and scored a couple of tries, a pretty basic one from Papali'i, pretty poor defence. Papali'i just sort of hits a pretty easy gap, a bit of an offload to his colleague, and try to the Blues. So all of a sudden it's 21-3 to the Blues, and it looked at that point like it was going to be a tough game for the Western Force to come back. On another note, yeah, it just gets you thinking though, are the Western Force good enough for Super Rugby? A game like this at the Garden of Eden, as I like to say. Before the game, I thought, look, the Blues are going to win this by 25 points, easy. It's going to be an easy game, and unfortunately, a lot of spectators can't be bothered watching these sorts of games now. Look, I hope that suck eggs, you don't know what you're talking about. The Western Force are the Super Rugby champions for 2024. Yeah, it'd be great, but the reality is, based off that game and what has been in the last few seasons, the Western Force, they've got some improving to do. They've got a bit of homework to do, and this is just not good for the Super Rugby competition. So the second half, look, I thought that the Western Force would get in that dressing room, and I thought the coach would give them a good old-fashioned dressing down, just give them a chewing session. I don't know if maybe that's what happened. They got chewed out, but certainly didn't improve the performance in the second half. That first 15 minutes, the Blues just seemed to run riot, spinning the ball wide, and the Force just couldn't keep up with the pace and physicality of the Blues. And unfortunately, the rest of the second half, it just didn't seem to get much better. A couple of key players that I thought were good. End result, I thought Chase Tiatia, I thought he was good for the Western Force. He was electric. He was dynamic. He sparked a few breaks for the Western Force. Caleb Clark, I thought he played well. I thought he'll be in All Black contention this year. He's lost a bit of weight. He looks a bit leaner, a bit fitter, but he still seems to have that power that he used to have. He broke a couple of tackles. He's still quite physical, so it'll be interesting to see if he's an All Blacks duty later in the year. I thought Rieko Ioane, yeah, whilst I don't think he was outstanding, I thought he was thereabouts. He's a good player. He's electric. I didn't see him do any major mistakes. He was okay. In the end, 50 points to 3. Look, you can't hide away from that. That is a thrashing on the Western Force. The Blues were good. I don't think they were superb, but there's a lot of work for the Force to do. So like and subscribe if you've enjoyed this video, and more to come. Thanks.